Hey guys, this is Gary with Runes of Life, and just want to take some time to react to a few of the geeky things that are coming out. There's been quite a few things lately, especially with San Diego Comic Con that we're in the middle of. Obviously, I'm not there, but the trailers leak, they come home, and all the announcements come home. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that stuff a little bit. This video is specifically on the Dungeons and Dragons Honors Among Thieves movie that's going to be coming out, and it's looking better than expected. I haven't seen any of the old Dungeons and Dragons movies, but they do not have a good reputation. So I was a little bit worried about this, but it does seem like the directors and the actors are doing a good job to bring it to life. One of my concerns was what type of tone they're going to take. I kind of hear those old movies are very corny, very cheesy, and really with Dungeons and Dragons being what it is, it's yes, there's lore and everything, but it really is a fan created world, or rather several fan created worlds, right? So if I'm playing a D&D game, it might have super jokes every few seconds, fart jokes and all that type of stuff, whereas somebody else might be playing a D&D game and it might be the most serious political thing you've ever seen with backstabbing and intrigue and all of that. Someone else might have something that's family friendly. Someone else might have something that's super bloody. So it's really hard. I didn't know quite how they were going to approach this. It seems like they're taking, at least from the trailer, something similar to like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? A lot of action, a lot of quipping, a lot of adventure. Nothing too heavy, I would say. And I think that might be the best way to go, because if you go, you kind of have to find that middle balance, right? If you go too light, you have people who are expecting something serious who won't even give it a chance. You go too dark, you're missing out on all those the younger fans or families who might want to see it. It's not going to make everybody happy, obviously, but I do think that they probably made the best decision they could as far as tone, judging by what's going on. We'll see if the final movie is corny or not, but it seems like it's on a good track for that. The other concern I have is I'm hoping they're not throwing too much stuff at the at the movie, as far as too many elements from D&D. Like you got to have a lot of the elements, because you don't want this to just be generic. You want to take things from D&D lore. If you go too generic, then why is it a D&D movie? Why did you pay for the D&D license? Why are you putting a name on it? I guess other than maybe we'll get a few more customers, but it's not going to necessarily make a big, great movie if you're not honoring where it came from. There's really no point in making it. So it's good that there's a lot of monsters from there and references in the trailer. But I keep flashing back to some of the early superhero movies and even some of the later ones, right? Where, let's throw every villain into it, and let's have every Easter egg setting up for other movies coming out so we can build a franchise, and those things would always fall apart. I mean, from the old movies, right? Batman and Robin, I believe that had what? Bane and Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, and you had like three villains, and from what I remember, none of them were very well developed, and it just was too much, right? The old Spider-Man 3, the one with Tobey Maguire. You had the New Goblin, you had Sandman, you had Venom, you had all these different arcs, and any one of those arcs would have made a complete movie, but because they had to divide the movie between the three arcs, including, like I said, Venom, which is, there's a lot to it. You've got to give Spider-Man the costume, he has to lose it, then Venom has to arrive. It's just too much. So I'm worried that there's too many elements possibly coming in, but they could also play that right. It's been done right in other movies. You look at something like Spider-Man No Way Home, it had 5 villains, I think, but they kind of balanced everybody out, plus 3 Spider-Men. They kind of learned over the years. What was another one? Infinity War. You had all those different stories, but they were able to tie it together because the main arc in there was actually Thanos' arc. So it can be done where you have all these different elements. Doctor Who has done it both good and bad ways. It's just, are these going to be where you're trying to give stories to every little thing? Or is this going to be like maybe for some reason they're, it's Dungeons and Dragons, they're going through some dungeon and these are just the things they see, and it doesn't take away from the story but somehow adds to it. So we'll see what comes with that. I guess the last thing is I know that D&D fans, they know all the villains. Like in Stranger Things recently. I guess spoilers for that, real quick. Um, when they said Vecna was going to be in Stranger Things season 4, D&D players who knew the lore knew who that was. But the average person, I just don't know very many good D&D villains. So a lot of this is going to depend on, is this main villain in this going to be an actual threat? Because I don't know if they're taking this villain from lore or if they've created a new villain, and if the villain's actually going to be interesting. So that is another worry that I kind of have there. But none of these things make me think that the movie is going to be an automatic failure at this point. I kind of don't trust trailers too much to show me. I mean, there's been so many trailers that look like so stupid, but the movie's great, and trailers that look awesome, and the movie ends up being stupid. That I know this could still go either way, but for right now, I think that it looks like, so far from the stuff that I've seen, I'm liking the tone and the direction that it's taking. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. If you have thoughts on it, please let me know, and I'll be trying to bring you some more updates on some of the things coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. I know there was a new Rings of Power trailer that I want to comment on, but I'll do that as I'm able. A little personal thing, I'm actually just getting over COVID. I was tested positive on Monday. It's now Friday. I'm starting to feel better, still have a little bit of a cough, and voice is still a little off. But yeah, anyway, if you have some thoughts on the new D&D movie and what you'd like to see or what you thought of the trailer, please let me know. All right, thanks, guys.